If you're interested in starting to invest, but don't really know where to start, don't have much money to start investing with, and are really afraid to ask, don't worry, you're in the right place. Also, I want to point out, we all start in a very similar place with investing. So what I want to do today is explain to you how you can get started with investing for very little money. Hey everyone, and thanks for joining me today. My name is Matt, and if you're new to my channel, just wanted to give you a little background about myself so you know who I am and who's this person talking about investing. I got my degree in finance in college, and I worked for Vanguard for a few years. I assisted clients with everything from $5,000 to over $50 million when it came to their investments. I also did this personally though with my friends to help them get started, and we all started between myself and my friend group with around $5. So I've really helped people from the entire spectrum of wealth with their investments, and I wanted to give some of you beginners some tips to how you can get started and have a successful path with investing. Now I should say this isn't investment advice, but this is just how you can get started and ultimately start building a portfolio for yourself. So today I'm going to give you two different approaches that you could take for whatever works better for you with investing, but I'm going to start off with what I believe is the easiest way to start investing, and that is through an app that you can download or have on your computer called Acorns. Now, this isn't sponsored. Any company that I talk about is not sponsoring this video, so I just want to be clear about that from the beginning. I've just had experience with Acorns. I thought it was a brilliant way to start investing, and so did many of my friends that I helped. So that is why I want to talk about Acorns. Now, I believe you can actually start investing with Acorns without any money, but just to cover myself here, let's say the minimum that you need is $5. I don't think you would need any more than $5 to start investing with Acorns. And the reason why I like Acorns so much is because it does have that low barrier to entry. You don't need much money to get started, and they make it very easy for you to quickly grow a portfolio. So when you sign up for Acorns, you basically open up an account and you choose your risk tolerance. Now, based on your risk tolerance that you have with your investments, they will automatically allocate the portfolio for you. So they'll put you into different ETFs based on how risky you want to be with this account. Now, if you're not familiar with what an ETF is, it's essentially just like a bundle of a bunch of different stocks held underneath one name. And if you want to know more about ETFs, I made a video all about ETFs explaining everything that you'll need to know about ETFs, and I'll link to that in case you're interested in learning more about those types of investments. Once you choose your risk tolerance and have your initial set of money into the Acorns account, it's very easy for you to quickly build your portfolio. One of the features that I love that Acorns offers is the roundup feature. So let's say you go to Starbucks and you buy a coffee that's $4.75. If you have the roundup feature set up, Acorns will actually round that purchase up to $5 and will take that 25 cents needed to round it up and put that into your account. So you are able to make contributions to your investment account without even thinking about it. And yes, it's a very small sum of money, but over time that's something that you should see grow rather quickly. Acorns also has a referral program where if you refer any friends to their platform, then you get $5 and they get $5, which is something that I utilized a lot when I was in college and helping my friends get started with investing. Now, I do have a link that I'll link below if you want to use my link for Acorns, but if you and another friend are interested in getting started and you'd rather each get your $5, that's totally fine. I don't really use Acorns anymore, but I want to give you that opportunity so you can have a free $5 for your investment account. So link below if you want that free $5, but again, if it's better for you to do that with a friend, by all means, go ahead and do it that way. Another thing about Acorns that I really like is you can actually get, I'll call it cash back to your investment account if you make investments through certain stores. So one company that they have a partnership with is Nike. So if you log in through the Acorns app and go to the Nike store, let's say you need a new pair of shoes, they'll actually give you 5% back of your purchase towards your investment account. So if you buy a $100 pair of shoes, then you will receive $5 in your investment account. It doesn't sound like much, especially when I put it that way, but again, these are things that over time will help you grow your account without you really having to do much. Now, if you do want to contribute, you can contribute as much as you want to the portfolio. I believe the minimum for a one-time contribution is $5 with Acorns. And if you set up reoccurring investments, so if you want to have it where you can, every time you get paid, some of that money goes to your investment account, you can utilize that strategy as well. And that's something that I highly suggest for beginners, because when you're starting off, you might feel like, I don't really want to put this money towards that investment right now. I'd rather go buy that cup of coffee. But if it does it automatically for you on a certain basis, then again, it makes it a seamless way to start investing. And I think one of the beautiful things about Acorns is they put you in a portfolio based on your risk tolerance. So if you have no knowledge about different stocks or investments or what's going to be the best opportunity for you, they'll take care of that for you. And that allows for you to learn how they're investing for you, and you can see what investments they put you in. So ultimately, you can learn as you go with Acorns. Now, there are two negatives, though, that I see when it comes to Acorns that I did want to point out. The first one is, with them doing the investments for you, you don't get to pick your own stocks or ETFs that you might want to go into. So if you're looking to be an investor that actually chooses your own investments, then stay tuned because I'll talk about that in a second. But just bear in mind, Acorns does not allow for you to go in and buy shares of Apple or shares of Amazon. You have to stick within the positions that they essentially assign to you. Also, while Acorns is very cheap to have, it starts at $1 a month. I think it goes $1, $3, and $5 a month. I could be wrong there. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it could add up relatively quickly. So if your account only has $5 in it and they charge you $1 a month, that is a 20% management fee. So again, it doesn't sound like much, and that shouldn't be a problem if you do set up things like reoccurring investments or have that roundup feature set up. Then you really shouldn't be faced by that $1 a month charge for the basic plan. But if you only invest with $5 and don't do anything else, bear in mind, at the end of 5 months, you'll probably have no money left in your account. So if you get started with Acorns, I do suggest at least putting in an additional $1 a month to cover that cost, but hopefully you'll be able to contribute a little bit more money than just $1 a month towards your account. But I'll finish that off with Acorns by saying I do believe it's a great way again for investors to start, because as a new investor, you should still be learning the industry and making investment decisions. While yes, that is the fun part of investing, is the most challenging thing and something new investors struggle with, because you want to make sure you make the right decision and ultimately end up making some risky decisions rather than some well thought out decisions. So I'm a big fan of this kind of platform where they make those choices for you just to simplify your life, and you can learn from the professionals. That said though, if you really want to pick your own investments, whether that be your own stocks or ETFs, then I do have some options available for you as well. And if that's the route that you want to take, I do suggest looking at a investment company or investment brokerage that allows for you to purchase fractional shares. Some examples of companies that do allow for you to have fractional shares would be things like Cash App, SoFi, which is who I use, or Robinhood, the one that everybody's leaving. And reason being is because if you want to get into a share of Amazon, let's say, as an investment, but don't have whatever Amazon is trading at that day, you can still purchase as much money as you have. I believe most of these have a $5 minimum when it comes to fractional shares, which allows for you to get exposure to really great companies, but something that most people don't have, just $3,000 plus ready to go to put into one single stock. Now, generally when it comes to new investors though, I always suggest looking at ETFs first rather than individual stocks. And the reason being is because, as I was saying earlier, an ETF is just a bundle of a bunch of different stocks underneath one ticker symbol, basically. And with that, you get so much more exposure for the amount of money you're investing in, and that allows for you to get ownership in multiple different companies for a lot less money. If you were to try to buy every single company, one share of it inside of an ETF, it would cost you thousands of dollars to get started. And if you go with an ETF, it might cost you $15 to $100 for that. But again, you can still buy fractional shares of an ETF as well. So if you're looking for a place to get started, I would definitely consider an ETF, not an individual stock. And when it comes to picking between companies like SoFi, Cash App, or Robinhood, I would say if you have one of them already, then just stick with what you have. You don't want to spread yourself out across all these different platforms, because that gets very hard to track over time. And my suggestion would just be stick with the one you have. If you already have Cash App, use that. I like SoFi because they're kind of an all-in-one place. So if you need a student loan in the future, or if you need to refinance student loans, get a home loan, they even have a banking feature now. So they have a lot of different services, and you won't need to have multiple different apps on your phone to track everything. It's all in-house underneath one app, which is something that I like because I'm not a fan of having a cluttered home screen on my phone. Also, the other reason why I love SoFi and why it's the company that I stick with is because they do a really good job of educating investors. As I'm sure you might have realized by now, when you get started with investing, it might seem like a lot to be taking on at once and can seem a little intimidating. SoFi offers a bunch of different types of educational resources that people with accounts can utilize to make you a stronger and more strategic investor over time, while also being able to get into simple investments at a low cost. Also, I know that SoFi charges virtually zero fees for having an account with them. And again, if you don't have a lot of money to get started, paying attention to fees is going to be absolutely crucial to your success, because you don't want to be paying for something that is ultimately going to eat away at all your returns. So with SoFi, there's no account maintenance fee, there's no trading fees, there's no management fees or anything along those lines. I think one of the only fees they charge is like $2 if you want to receive paper statements, and they have their own ETFs where they make money. But it's a free way to get started with investing, again, without needing a lot of money. So just to kind of quickly summarize all of that, if you are interested in getting started with investing, have no clue where to start, and don't really care to take the time to learn about different investments, I would absolutely consider starting with Acorns, and that's actually going to be my first recommendation, is starting with Acorns. And you can always transfer your account later or move it into different positions down the road, but at least that way you're getting set up with recurring investments, you're getting basically ETF picks for you, and it makes it easy with the roundup feature. If you do really want to start picking your own individual stocks or ETFs though, then look at one of those companies that offer fractional shares at a low cost. And I think all three of those, Cash App, Robinhood, and SoFi, all have a low cost, so those would all be great starting places as well. Now, if you are interested in learning a little bit more about how to analyze stocks or how to find stocks that fit well in a portfolio, or really anything about stock investing and occasionally real estate, then maybe just consider subscribing to my channel. I make a weekly video where I analyze in depth a different stock or ETF, and I also make other videos talking about my thoughts on upcoming stocks or recent events in the market to help make sure that you become a smarter and more strategic investor. So again, consider subscribing. Now, with all that said, I hope that this video is helpful for you. As always, if you have any questions, I want to be a resource here for you, so leave a comment below if there's any questions that you have for me with getting started with investing. If you like this video, hope you hit it with a thumbs up. Again, subscribe too if you want some more information about investing. I'm going to wrap up here though, so thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me, and I really appreciate that. But I'm going to let you go ahead, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.